I'm retiring from Wellesley Rep and from Wellesley College. It's been 28 years and it's time to graduate. I'm planning to take up the camera. I want to do documentary film. First, I'm going to Ireland to kind of clear my head. I go back home at least once every couple of years, but this time I'm going every year. So I'm going back to Ireland for a while, for a month, and then I will be going up to Maine Media to study for the fourth time documentary film, and then from there take my camera and start telling stories. I've been toying with it for a while, and I have a son who's a cameraman, so he's been giving me some pointers and some kind of off-the-cuff instruction in the best techniques. It's very much related because I always viewed theater as an opportunity to tell stories, to bring sometimes stories that were not told, that had never been actually uncovered or given any attention, to bring them into the fore. So what I feel at this point, without relying on a playwright, I'll just rely on my camera and hopefully some fabulous stories and the people that have lived them out there. I would like to do a project about what happened to the boomer dream. This is this 50th anniversary of 1968, and as we've been looking at the events of 50 years ago, you kind of start wondering what happened to all that youthful enthusiasm and activism, because somewhere along the line it got lost a little bit. And I'd like to talk to people and find out how they maybe utilized their activism in ways that were not apparent, but that they still kept it alive. Or did people just kind of quietly say nothing to be done and just move into private sector and not think about what was going on in the larger world? Of course, an American classic that I love, and I think most directors actually do. I loved Our Town. I love working on Our Town. I could do Our Town once a year and be happy with different iterations and different people and different towns. I loved The Clearing, which was about the Cromwell invasion of Ireland. I loved Good Night, Desdemona, Good Morning, Juliet, because it was a comedy, and I'm not known for comedies, and so we had a blast with that one. And then we've done a couple of plays about the Brontes that I was absolutely over the moon about, just telling their story, how they came from such an obscure background to become, legends. So a lot of the stories have been about women's stories, women's pathways here and across the world. I would say probably my mantra from the beginning was tell a woman's story from her perspective and then see how it affected everyone around her, male and female, anyone. So it's been an amazing 28 years to see that come to fruition. We've also created plays. A couple of years ago, an alum and I created the stories of women from the First World War, because now there are archival materials available that weren't available prior to this time. So I've been able to tell a lot of stories about people whose lives mattered in small ways and big ways, and in ways that left their mark. I wanted to do a play that looked at Vietnam, at what happened then, what effect it had, and also to look at the fact that women's contributions were not recognized for a very long time. They didn't get a memorial until the early 90s. So it was important to me that their stories be told, and it was also important that we look at 1968 and the years afterwards through the prism of what we're experiencing today and the divisiveness in the country. So for many, many reasons, and it has great roles, it's beautifully composed, it's based on true stories. So it was an absolute, not even a glimmer of a doubt about doing it. Once I realized that this was going to be my swan song, I decided that this was the one I wanted to go out on. The Wellesley Rep is in good hands. It's being taken on by my successor, Marta Rayner, who has been directing with the Wellesley Rep for the last couple of years. She will be assuming the position of producing artistic director in July 1. So there's absolutely no halt, no misstep in the transition. It is smooth. I am delighted. She was my student back in the 90s, and now we are colleagues, and now she is going to be my successor. And you don't get very many jobs in life where you get to see it taken on by someone that you love and respect.